All right.
Here we go.
Good to go.
Hello, everybody. It's 10 a.m. or, 1, wherever you are. Welcome to Smart With Your Money Live. I am Chase Peckham. I am the Director of Community Outreach and Education at the San Diego Financial Literacy Center, the education arm of DebtWave Credit Counseling. And as always, I am joined by my compatriot, my partner, my buddy, Felipe Arevalo, who, bear with him, is here with us doing this live when he has COVID. Yes, that is how committed this guy is. He is sitting there as we speak in isolation, and he is working with us, talking about micro money habits that add up. Phil, man, I'm telling you.
I feel better today. Yesterday, I would have called out and said, Chase, you're going to have to do this one on your own.
I could have done it.
Today, I feel better. Let's go right into it. This is there's a lot of slides. Some of them are going to be longer than others, but I look forward to sharing them. First, a quote that I've found that I really like. Small changes make a big impact. Beware of little expenses. A small leak will sink a great ship. And that was Benjamin Franklin. It's the little things sometimes it's the little expenses that don't let you accomplish your big financial goals. And sometimes it's the little changes that we can make that can make you reach new financial heights. So first, we're going to go over some things that you could stop doing. And then I'm going to give you some action items, some things you can go start doing today to hopefully, make a big difference in your financial outlook. First, I couldn't start a presentation without picking on my coffee drinkers.
I was just going to say, poor coffee just gets the worst rap in the financial world.
They really do. And it's not always the problem. You could go to Starbucks and still be on a budget and be doing good financially. It's sometimes when you go too often that gets you into trouble. So let's say you were going to do $4 a cup of coffee 6 days a week. That's $1,248 a year, or over $12,000 in the next decade. It's a lot of money. What if you saved just half of that? I mean, you're still going a lot. Maybe you go 3 days a week instead of 6, and you invest that money. Well, if you could put away about $52 a month, you're going to see a big difference in your finances. So starting amount here, this is just a regular old calculator. I think it's bank rate. Starting amount $52, 30 years at 8%. Compounded annually, additional contributions of $52 at the end of the month. That's not a big number. Over 30 years, you would have had over $73,000 invested and ready for you to go do whatever it is you want to do. Maybe go on a big coffee trip and try the coffee in Paris, Italy, wherever it is you like to drink your coffee. So consider it. Still going 3 times, that's just cutting it in half and making that change. Or maybe,
and Phil, imagine how many people just go buy coffee for themselves. How many people actually have kids that they buy coffee for or buy drinks for at Starbucks every morning? I'm fighting this right now with my kids, my daughter who always wants the pink drink. I don't even know what a pink drink is. So I'm a terrible father for giving her something that's pink that I don't know what's in it.
And is it the strawberry smoothie thing?
I don't even know if it's a smoothie. I don't know. Look, I should probably know this.
There's a strawberry drink. It's pink and they put a little whipped cream on top. That was one of my go-tos back in the day.
Yeah. So well, if it's called a pink drink, you probably shouldn't put it in your body.
Probably. Unless it's natural strawberry flavor.
And it's like $5 or $6.
Yeah. And probably 1,000 calories. So
there you go.
So, it can make a big difference down the road, just putting a little bit of money away each and every month. Stop shopping when you're bored. Do you find yourself sitting there thinking, I got nothing to do. Let's see what kind of deals I can get. Don't do that. Don't shop when you're bored. Don't pick up your phone and just start randomly shopping at any time you're trying to go to bed or watching TV at night. Don't pick up your phone to see what's on sale. You don't need it. Don't go buy it. Learn to say no. It's
Oh,
hard.
this
It's
is a tough
hard.
one.
Yeah.
Not only to myself, but to my kids. Having to stand firm. It's tough.
And friends.
Yeah.
You know, you might
Right.
have to tell friends and or coworkers or whatever the case may be, people you interact with on a daily basis.
Yeah.
You might have to tell your coworkers, I can't go out to lunch every day. It's not
Right.
that I don't want to. That's just not financially in the books for me right now. You know, you have to be able to tell your friends, I can't go to that. Maybe let's do this instead. So learn to
Right.
say no. And then when you say no, stick to it.
It can be empowering.
It can. And it gets easier.
And it's, but it's hard for somebody like me. I don't like to say no. And I don't like to say no to anybody.
Right.
So yeah, it's something I've had to learn myself.
But after you've done it for a while and your friends realize, you know, and you can communicate to them and say, hey, you know, this is what I'm trying to accomplish. This is what I'm trying to do. I think it gets easier and they're more likely to just say, all right, well, maybe you can go next time.
Or we just won't invite you anymore.
That
Sorry.
could happen as well, but hopefully not. In-app purchases. Oftentimes the apps are free, but the content isn't. Or there's lots of little add-ons. You play some of these games, there's downloadable content. You play some of these games and up to a certain point, you're flying, you're doing good. And then all of a sudden, if you don't put real money into it, it's really hard to advance. And you're hooked at that point because you've been playing this for 6 months or whatever. Those micro purchases.
Phil, those I have found out how many apps there are that we do this with my wife passing away and me having to figure out all the accounts. And I did all the major accounts first, and now I've gotten into her phone and I'm going through all the financial stuff that's in all of those apps that I have to close out and figure out. It was mind-boggling how many there was. Yeah. It was just, things I'd never even heard of. And I have to go through and cancel them all out. So those aren't being used anymore. It's just nuts.
Yeah. And then you have bank fees, trying to avoid bank fees when possible. You know, maybe you go a little more planning to make sure you use your bank's ATM as opposed to just whatever's more convenient, the one down the street. So, you know, have it be where you plan ahead, where you get cash back at the grocery store so you don't have to go to the other ATM. You know, try and save on bank fees, try and avoid them altogether.
Phil, I got to tell you, you're a true professional, man. I mean, you're going with the cough button. That's pretty good.
You like that? I was able to pause it in time. I told the group last night, I was like, you know, I'm going to be pausing it a lot. It's okay. I'm just coughing, sneezing, or taking a drink of my Gatorade. But FOMO, it's a real thing. Learn to work past it. You'll be okay.
Yeah. This is kind of along the signs of saying no, right?
No, yeah. You know, but just realize that it's a real thing. You may have it. I know I do. I did in college, definitely.
For sure.
So just kind of learn and realize, I just don't, I'll be okay. I'll check out the Instagram stories or the Snapchats or the TikToks or whatever, and I'll be all right. People forget about this fun and exciting night anyways. Grocery shopping without a list.
This is huge. We should do one of these just on this topic, because this is a topic that is crazy. How many people, including myself, my wife, bless her, she wouldn't even let me go to the grocery store for like a year, because I would never come, even though she'd give me a list, I would never come home with the stuff she put on it, and I would come home with junk.
That's the thing. You got to make a list and then you got to stick to it. When you're there, you know, don't bring a pencil or a pen so you can add more to it, or completely disregard it once you're there. So, you know, grocery shopping without a list, make a list.
It's so bad now. My kids literally say this too. Dad, don't come home with anything like that. Don't come home with junk.
Or make or do your grocery shopping. I like doing it on the apps and then doing the curbside pickup, because I can go, do I need milk? I don't know. Let me go to the fridge and check, and open up the fridge and say, oh, I don't need milk. Do we need XYZ? Let me go check the cupboards. Oh no, we have tons of that. So, and then you just plug it all in and you show up and your groceries are ready.
It's a good plan.
Yeah. Avoiding regular maintenance. Please don't avoid oil changes. You might think you're saving some money, but this expense right here is going to be a lot more expensive than whatever oil changes they skipped.
There is an old adage, an old saying that penny wise and dollar foolish.
Right.
Those are things we don't want to spend money on, but boy, will you spend quadruple
Yeah.
in repairs than if you just kept your car in good running order.
And this is everything: your car, your AC, your teeth,
Yes.
your health. It includes us as people too.
Right.
Go to your doctor's visits and take care of yourself and take care of your things. It'll last longer, save you some money.
For sure.
All right, so switching gears, what can you do? What are some action items you could take with you today and you could start making a big financial impact? First, if you've got debt, come up with a plan, set up a budget, and start paying the thing off. Debt is oftentimes, a stressor. It's crippling. It always on the back of your mind type of thing. So try and come up with a plan, pay it off as soon as possible. Ignoring it's not going to make it any better.
Right.
Find your goals. People always ask, how do I motivate myself, my spouse, my kids, my parents, my whoever they're trying to help financially? How do I motivate them to be better? Or how do I motivate myself to be better with money? I always say, find out what the goals are. What are the goals? What are your goals? And have that be the reason you are motivated to do and take action on some of these things. If your goal is to pay off your debt, that's your goal. That's your motivation to maybe cut back on the Starbucks. That's your motivation to, cancel things you don't need, to stick to your budget, to all different things. So find out what your goals are and have that be the motivating factor for you.
Absolutely.
And then track your expenses. It's hard to pinpoint where those small leaks are if you don't track your expenses, because it's only $3. It's only
Right.
$4.
I mean, there's a reason companies and retail companies do inventory, right? They got to know what they have, what they got to get rid of. They got to figure out what the bottom line is. And we all got to do that for ourselves. We say this a million times every single month. You got to treat yourself like a business. If you treat your household like it's a business and the goal of the business is to bring in a profit, then you're going to be in a much better spot. Problem is we don't do that.
No, and tracking expenses can be scary.
Yeah.
Like,
you don't want to look at that.
I don't want to know where the money's going, but that could be a good thing.
For sure.
You not knowing isn't making it any better.
Making it worse.
So here's one. Grab a book and read it. Go to the library, get a book. It's free. You could literally pick out, there's tons of books. You can, depending on your library system. I know if you're here in San Diego, the San Diego County Library system is great. It doesn't matter what it is, whatever you like to read. Yes, maybe mix in some learning stuff if you want, but really at the end of the day, if you can change out, some online shopping for reading a comic book, do it. Saved you some money.
And it passes the time that you're not scrolling through your social media and looking at all the ads that are targeting you. And that's going to get rid of the shopping.
Plus, reading's good for you, just in general. You can kind of escape and go to another place. And I love books. So I don't read as much as I should, but read a book. I got a long pile of books that I've purchased that I got to get around to reading. So in my case, I should not have purchased them. I should have waited until I was actually ready to read them, then purchase them or go to the library and borrow them. So learn new stuff. Is there something that you have always wanted to learn? Play an instrument, learn new recipes, get better at drawing, get better. It doesn't matter what it is. Learn a new skill to occupy any kind of free time that you may normally be online shopping during. Could be free, could be very inexpensive. It could be relaxing.
Well, especially for those of us that are going through life changes as we start to get older, and we're getting in a different part of our life, we're going to need something to do when we get towards retirement. We got to have stuff that'll fulfill our time, keep us healthy, keep our mind right. All those kinds of things. The earlier you learn that stuff, the better that transition is going to be.
Yeah. Go play some golf. Hit the driving range.
There you go. Although
Yeah,
that might
'cause
not
you
be
could
the cheapest thing in the
Might
world.
not be the cheapest thing in the world, but you could do it for a long time.
That's what I'm saving my money for. That's what my retirement's going to be. I am going to be on the golf course.
At some point, I can't.
And I'm going to have a
soccer
golf
anymore.
cart that I'm going to ride around in.
There you go.
It's a goal of mine.
That's a good one. All right. So then we have take advantage of your 401k. If your company does a 401k and they do any kind of matching, please take advantage of that. There is nowhere else where you could just double your money on the spot.
Yep.
It's a good deal. And that money will eventually continue to grow for you. Maybe when you see that the market is down and the stocks aren't doing well, don't go check it. You don't need it today. Just let it be, and it'll recover, especially if you're young and you have lots of time to allow it to recover.
Yeah.
Don't stress about it. Just continue to contribute to it.
Exactly.
Go through every once in a while and ask yourself, which one of these things do I not use anymore? And
I
cancel
just did
unused
this.
subscriptions. Did you?
I did.
Did some of them get the boot?
ESPN Plus, the Disney Plus, Paramount. As much as I love those things, we were literally we got Disney when the kids were younger. We just don't watch it. When I'm watching Marvel movies for the third and fourth time, there's no reason for that to pay for that anymore. So unless there's something that I really got to see, a series that I really like, it just wasn't worth it. So when Carrie passed, remember I was talking about those apps and all the different accounts we had. I had to go through and figure out where all those were being paid and all that stuff. And yeah, I got rid of quite a bit. Hulu, unfortunately. There was a lot of stuff that we were paying for that I didn't even know we had.
That Disney Plus Hulu ESPN bundle is kind of one of our go-tos right now.
You got kids at that age though, and it works for all of you, right?
Yeah, the little kids.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's bad, and I might get it back someday. But for right now, we're just not using it.
ESPN Plus is the only place I could watch Barcelona soccer games.
Well, there you go.
I was, it's a no-brainer for me.
You need it.
I need it. Yeah. Otherwise, how am I going to follow along? I always thought I was going to watch all the 30 for 30 series. I haven't gotten around to watching any of them.
Yeah. There's just not enough time. There's so much content out there.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff, and there's just not enough time to sit there and watch it.
Not at all.
Especially when I want to go get some sleep.
Especially when I'm about to tell you should sleep more.
There you go. That's what we call a transition.
Go to bed earlier. What is the benefit of you staying up that extra 30 minutes to watch the next Schitt's Creek episode for the 5th time, as opposed to just saving it for tomorrow? Just go to bed. You've already seen it. Any show that you're watching, go to bed, and more sleep is good for you.
Absolutely, it is. Probably one of the most crucial things you can get for yourself.
Yeah.
And you're not up buying anything or shopping or getting marketed to while you're watching whatever you're watching or looking at. Yeah.
Snacking. That's one of my
snacking.
Yeah. Because the kids go to sleep, so I can eat my snacks without them stealing them. So that Pringles cup, that little mini Pringles thing goes real quick when you got two.
That is not something I currently am dealing with.
So, sleep more. It can help you. Take a walk. It's free. You can go walk around your block. You can go, it doesn't have to be a big hike. I mean, yes, go for it if that's your thing. I'm all for that, but just go walk around your block, get some sunlight. I know Barrington, yesterday I skipped it, but Barrington my oldest had been, he got COVID before me, so I was taking him out for daily walks, and I mean, he was fine. But him and I would just go for a walk so he could take his mask off and breathe some fresh air and throw some rocks at trees or something like that. Just go out, get some sunlight, get some different noises than screens and things like that. Pay yourself first. Whatever money you decide you're going to save it before you go start spending money.
This is the
pay
answer.
yourself first. It's just, you've already set up a budget. You've already decided, I'm going to save X amount of dollars or X percent of my paycheck. Why not save it first? Automate it if you can. Make it easier to save than it is to spend. Just set it up, pay yourself first, make it easy. Ask yourself, is this a need or a want? Every time you go make, especially a big purchase, ask yourself, is this a need or a want? And I know it can be tricky. We need potentially a new laptop. You want the new MacBook. We need food. I want wings and things, which is not be good if they're spicy. But whatever it is that you are purchasing, ask yourself, need or want, and then buy the things you need the best you can, and hold off or save or budget for the things that you want. And that is it.
Those last two slides are those are the nuts and bolts.
If you do those two, you're going to go a long way.
Yeah.
Even if you just do those two.
And if you shore up some of those leaks, you're going to take that excess money and you're going to be able to chip away at the debt. That can be a big drag, be a big anchor.
Yeah. So any questions over from the Facebook side? Perfect. All right. You can always continue learning. We have our podcast. It's called Talk Wealth to Me. Get it wherever you get your podcast or on our website. And then next episode, October 26th, when to use your emergency fund. No, it's not so you can go out to dinner. That would not constitute an emergency. But when is it? And when should you reach in there and grab some of those funds that you had put away?
Phil, thanks so much for doing this. Well, I know you're feeling under the weather. I am out of here. We're off to Tallahassee to Florida State University to celebrate my wife. And I'll see you next week. Thank you, everybody.
Have fun. Safe travels.